Hidden behind one of society's most common assumptions is a truth that rarely gets discussed. The moment people notice that a person has very few friends, they often rush to a conclusion. They assume that person must be difficult to like, socially awkward, unfriendly, or disconnected from the world around them. Yet psychology reveals a far more complex picture. The reality is that many people who live with few friendships are not lacking social skills, confidence, or kindness. In fact, some possess personality traits that are surprisingly common among highly intelligent, deeply thoughtful, and emotionally aware individuals. These traits often shape the way they connect with others, the way they view relationships, and the way they move through life. What appears to be loneliness from the outside may actually be the result of choices, experiences, and personality patterns that most people never notice. The topic becomes even more interesting when researchers begin examining friendship, social behavior, and personality in greater detail. Studies have shown that friendship is not simply a matter of popularity. It is influenced by countless psychological factors, including trust, emotional sensitivity, personal values, independence, and past experiences. This means that two people can live completely different social lives, while both being perfectly healthy and emotionally balanced. One person may thrive in a large social circle, while another feels more comfortable with only one or two close connections. Some people actively seek companionship every day, while others spend long periods alone without feeling isolated. These differences often confuse those who believe that social success should look the same for everyone. What makes this discussion even more fascinating is that some of the traits linked to having fewer friends can actually be strengths. Traits that help a person think independently, protect their emotional well-being, or maintain high standards in relationships can sometimes make friendship more difficult to build and maintain. As a result, people who possess these qualities may find themselves standing apart from the crowd. They may be surrounded by others and still feel disconnected. They may choose solitude over relationships that feel superficial. They may keep their circle small because trust is not something they give away easily. From the outside, this can look like social failure. From the inside, it often feels very different. Throughout history, many remarkable individuals spent large portions of their lives with few close friends. Some preferred solitude because it allowed them to focus deeply on their work and ideas. Others became cautious after experiencing betrayal, disappointment, or rejection. Many discovered that being alone and being lonely are not the same thing. Modern society often celebrates popularity, constant communication, and large networks of friends. Yet psychologists continue to point out that the quality of relationships matters far more than the quantity. A person with one genuine friend may enjoy greater emotional well-being than someone surrounded by dozens of shallow connections. This raises an important question. Why do some people repeatedly struggle to form friendships even when they want meaningful connections? Why do others intentionally keep their distance despite opportunities to build relationships? The answers are often hidden beneath the surface. They are rooted in personality traits that quietly influence behavior every single day. These traits affect how people communicate, how they trust, how they respond to emotional pain, and how they view the people around them. Many individuals are completely unaware that these characteristics are shaping their social lives. Others recognize them but never fully understand their impact. In this video, we will uncover 5 personality traits that are commonly found among people who have very few friends or no close friends at all. Some of these traits may surprise you. Some may challenge what you believe about friendship and social success. Others may reveal hidden reasons behind behaviors that are often misunderstood. By the end of this video, you will gain a deeper understanding of why certain people struggle to form connections, why others choose a more solitary path, and why having fewer friends does not automatically mean a person is unhappy or unsuccessful. You will also discover that some of these traits can be both a strength and a challenge at the same time, creating a fascinating balance between personal growth and social connection. One of the traits we will discuss is often mistaken for confidence when it is actually creating distance. Another can quietly sabotage relationships without the person even realizing it. One trait is rooted in emotional protection and is frequently linked to painful experiences from the past. And the final trait may completely change the way you think about solitude, independence, and happiness. Each of these characteristics reveals a different piece of the puzzle, helping us understand why friendship comes naturally to some people while remaining a challenge for others. As the video continues, pay close attention to each trait because there is a good chance that parts of these descriptions will feel familiar. They may remind you of someone in your life. They may explain behaviors that once seemed confusing. They may even reveal aspects of your own personality that you never connected to friendship before. The deeper we explore this topic, the clearer it becomes that human relationships are shaped by far more than simple popularity or social skill. So stay with us until the very end, because the final personality trait is often the most misunderstood of all, and it may completely change the way you view people who spend much of their time alone. If you enjoy exploring psychology, human behavior, personality, and the hidden patterns that influence everyday life, then you are in the right place. Welcome to the channel. Be sure to subscribe and join our growing community for more fascinating insights into the human mind. And now, let's begin with the first personality trait. The first personality trait is extreme independence, and at first glance, it does not seem like a trait that would make friendship difficult. In fact, society often praises independent people. They are viewed as strong, capable, reliable, and self-sufficient. They handle challenges without asking for help. They solve problems on their own. They rarely depend on anyone else. From the outside, this looks admirable. Many people spend years trying to become more independent, believing it is one of the most valuable qualities a person can have. Yet there is a side to extreme independence that rarely gets discussed. While independence can help a person become resilient and confident, it can also create invisible barriers between them and the people around them. Many people with very few friends have spent much of their lives learning that they can only rely on themselves. This lesson may have developed during childhood. It may have formed after disappointments, broken trust, or repeated experiences where support was unavailable. Over time, they begin to believe that handling everything alone is safer and more efficient. Instead of reaching out when life becomes difficult, they turn inward. Instead of sharing their struggles, they keep them private. Instead of asking for support, they convince themselves that they do not need it. At first, this approach appears effective. They become skilled at managing responsibilities. They learn how to solve problems without assistance. They develop confidence in their own abilities. Friends, family members, and coworkers often admire their strength. Yet relationships are built on more than strength. They are built on mutual trust, vulnerability, and emotional exchange. When a person never asks for help, never shares their struggles, and never allows others to support them, relationships can remain stuck at a surface level. Friendship often grows through moments of openness. People connect when they share experiences, challenges, fears, and personal stories. These moments create trust and understanding, but extremely independent individuals often avoid these situations. They may not realize they are doing it. They simply feel uncomfortable relying on others. Even when trustworthy people enter their lives, they continue handling everything alone. As a result, potential friendships struggle to deepen. Another challenge is that other people may misinterpret their behavior. When someone rarely reaches out, rarely asks for help, and rarely shares personal details, others may assume they want to be left alone. They may assume friendship is not important to them. The independent person may secretly wish for deeper connections, yet their actions communicate the opposite message. This creates a quiet misunderstanding that can last for years. There is also a hidden emotional cost to carrying everything alone. Every person experiences stress, disappointment, uncertainty, and pain. Human beings are naturally social creatures. Support from others helps people cope with difficult situations. Yet extremely independent individuals often deny themselves this support. They continue carrying emotional burdens without allowing anyone else to share the weight. Over time, this can create feelings of isolation, even when people are present in their lives. Interestingly, some of the most independent people are not trying to avoid friendship. They simply value self-reliance so highly that they struggle to recognize when independence has become emotional distance. They may tell themselves they are protecting their freedom. They may believe they are avoiding unnecessary complications. Yet friendship requires a willingness to let others into your world. Without that openness, meaningful relationships become difficult to build. This does not mean independence is bad. Independence remains an important strength. The problem appears when self-reliance becomes so extreme that it prevents connection. Like many personality traits, balance matters. A person can be independent while still allowing others to support them. They can be strong while still being vulnerable. They can solve their own problems while still maintaining close friendships. The challenge lies in finding that balance. As we move deeper into this topic, another trait begins to emerge. Unlike extreme independence, this one often operates quietly inside the mind. Other people may never notice it, yet it can have a powerful effect on friendships and social relationships. It influences conversations, creates self-doubt, and turns ordinary interactions into sources of stress. This trait is overthinking social interactions. Many people replay important moments in their minds. They think about conversations, decisions, and experiences long after they happen. But for some individuals, this habit becomes much more intense. A simple interaction can trigger hours of analysis. A short conversation can remain in their thoughts for days. They replay every detail repeatedly, searching for mistakes, hidden meanings, and signs that they may have been judged negatively. A conversation that seemed perfectly normal to everyone else becomes a source of endless questions. Did that joke sound awkward? Did that comment seem strange? Did the other person misunderstand what was meant? Did they secretly think less of me after that interaction? These questions continue circulating through the mind, creating uncertainty and emotional exhaustion. The most difficult part is that much of this analysis focuses on possibilities rather than reality. The person is not responding to what actually happened. They are responding to what they fear might have happened. Their mind fills gaps with assumptions, worries, and imagined scenarios. A delayed text message becomes a sign of rejection. A neutral facial expression becomes evidence of disapproval. A brief pause during conversation becomes proof that they said something wrong. Over time, this pattern can make social interactions feel exhausting. Instead of looking forward to meeting people, they begin associating social situations with anxiety. Every interaction carries the risk of future overanalysis. Every conversation becomes material for hours of mental review. Rather than enjoying the moment, they become trapped inside their own thoughts. This constant self-monitoring can also make conversations feel unnatural. Instead of focusing on the person in front of them, they focus on themselves. They analyze how they sound, how they appear, and whether they are making a good impression. Their attention shifts away from genuine connection and towards self-evaluation. Ironically, the harder they try to avoid mistakes, the more anxious they become. Many people who struggle with overthinking are highly aware of social dynamics. They notice details that others overlook. They pick up subtle changes in tone, expression, and behavior. While this awareness can be valuable, it can also become overwhelming. Their minds process enormous amounts of information during every interaction. As a result, social situations require more mental energy than they do for most people. The fear of judgment often sits at the center of this pattern. Human beings naturally care about how others perceive them. But overthinkers tend to magnify this concern. They assume that other people are paying far more attention to their mistakes than they actually are. In reality, most people are focused on their own lives, worries, and insecurities. Yet the overthinking mind treats every small error as a major event. Eventually, avoidance begins to appear. The person may decline invitations. They may hesitate to start conversations. They may avoid social opportunities altogether. Not because they dislike people, but because the emotional effort feels overwhelming. Avoidance provides temporary relief. It removes the immediate source of anxiety. However, it also reduces opportunities to build friendships. The fewer interactions they have, the fewer chances they have to form meaningful connections. This creates a difficult cycle. Overthinking leads to anxiety. Anxiety leads to avoidance. Avoidance limits social experiences. Limited social experiences make friendship harder to develop. The result is often a smaller social circle and increased feelings of isolation. While some people struggle because their minds analyze every interaction, others face a completely different challenge. Their difficulty with friendship does not come from anxiety or self-doubt. Instead, it comes from the standards they hold for relationships. This brings us to the third personality trait. People with very high standards for relationships are often misunderstood. Others may describe them as picky, distant, or difficult to please. Yet their perspective is usually much more complex. They are not rejecting friendship itself. They are searching for a specific kind of friendship. They want relationships built on trust, honesty, loyalty, respect, and genuine understanding. For these individuals, casual connections often feel unsatisfying. Small talk may feel repetitive. Surface-level conversations may feel empty. They crave depth. They want meaningful discussions. They want authentic relationships where both people can be themselves without pretending or performing. Because of this, they tend to be highly selective about who enters their lives. They do not form close bonds quickly. Trust is earned slowly. They pay attention to character, consistency, and behavior. They observe how people treat others. They notice whether words match actions. They evaluate relationships carefully before allowing someone into their inner circle. This selectiveness can significantly reduce the number of friendships they form. While others may prioritize having a large social network, they focus on finding the right people. They would rather spend time alone than invest energy in relationships that feel shallow or unreliable. Many of them have experienced disappointment in the past. They may have trusted the wrong people. They may have encountered dishonesty, betrayal, or one-sided relationships. These experiences reinforce their belief that friendship should be chosen carefully. Instead of lowering their standards, they become even more selective. The challenge is that no human being is perfect. Every person has flaws, weaknesses, and imperfections. When expectations become too high, potential friendships may never have the opportunity to grow. Someone who could have become a trusted friend may be dismissed because they failed to meet every expectation immediately. As a result, opportunities for connection become increasingly rare. Yet, from their perspective, the alternative feels worse. They do not want relationships that lack authenticity. They do not want friendships built on convenience or social obligation. They want real connection. They want people who are honest when honesty is difficult. They want people who remain loyal during challenges rather than only during easy times. This focus on quality over quantity often leads to long periods of solitude. While others spend time maintaining large social circles, these individuals may keep only one or two close relationships or none at all. They are willing to wait for genuine connection, rather than settle for relationships that do not align with their values. However, high standards for relationships are often connected to another powerful personality trait, one that develops after trust has been broken and emotional wounds have been left unresolved. That trait operates beneath the surface, shaping behavior in ways that many people never fully recognize. The fourth personality trait is one that often develops quietly over time. Unlike independence, overthinking, or high standards, this trait is usually born from experience. More specifically, it grows from emotional pain. Many people who have very few friends are not avoiding connection because they dislike people. They are avoiding connection because they have been hurt before. At some point in their lives, trust was broken. A friendship ended badly. A confidence was betrayed. A person they depended on disappeared when they needed support the most. These experiences may seem ordinary from the outside, but they can leave deep emotional marks that last for years. Trust is one of the foundations of friendship. Every meaningful relationship requires a person to take a risk. Opening up to someone means giving them access to thoughts, feelings, fears, dreams, and vulnerabilities that are usually hidden from the rest of the world. Most people do this gradually. They share small pieces of themselves and wait to see how the other person responds. When trust is respected, the relationship grows stronger. But when trust is broken, the impact can be powerful. For some people, betrayal becomes more than a painful memory. It becomes a lesson that teaches them to be careful, a lesson that tells them not to trust too quickly, a lesson that convinces them emotional distance is safer than emotional exposure. After experiencing enough disappointment, they begin approaching every new friendship with caution. This caution is not always visible. In fact, many people who carry emotional scars appear perfectly normal. They smile, they work, they hold conversations, they participate in social situations. Yet beneath the surface, there is hesitation. They constantly assess whether someone is trustworthy. They watch for warning signs. They look for inconsistencies. They pay close attention to behavior because they do not want to repeat past mistakes. The challenge is that emotional protection often comes with emotional distance. The same walls that keep harmful people out can also prevent healthy relationships from developing. A person may genuinely want friendship, but fear prevents them from fully opening up. They reveal only small pieces of themselves. They keep conversations safe and controlled. They avoid discussing personal struggles. They avoid showing vulnerability. As a result, relationships remain limited. Many people do not realize how much courage friendship requires. To build a meaningful connection, a person must accept uncertainty. They must accept that trust can be rewarded or betrayed. They must accept that disappointment is always possible. For someone who has experienced significant emotional pain, that risk feels much larger than it does for others. One betrayal can influence future relationships for years. The mind naturally tries to protect itself from future harm. If trust once led to pain, the brain begins associating trust with danger. The result is emotional caution. The person becomes selective about what they share and who they share it with. While this approach may reduce the chance of being hurt again, it also reduces opportunities for genuine connection. Sometimes these emotional walls become so strong that even trustworthy people struggle to get close. Friends may feel like they are always kept at a distance. Conversations remain polite but never deeply personal. Emotional intimacy becomes rare. The individual may not even realize is creating this distance. They simply believe they are being careful. There is another interesting aspect to this trait. Many people who have been hurt before become highly self-reliant. Instead of turning to others during difficult moments, they handle problems alone. They convince themselves that depending on someone creates unnecessary risk. If they solve everything independently, they cannot be disappointed by others. While this mindset may feel protective, it often increases feelings of isolation over time. Emotional wounds can also affect expectations. A person who has experienced betrayal may begin assuming future relationships will end the same way. Even when someone demonstrates kindness, loyalty, and consistency, doubt remains present. Questions continue to appear. Can this person really be trusted? Will they eventually leave? Are they being honest? This uncertainty can make friendship feel exhausting. Interestingly, people who protect themselves after past hurt are often among the most caring individuals. They understand the pain of betrayal because they have experienced it firsthand. They value loyalty deeply. They appreciate honesty. They understand the importance of trust. Their caution does not come from a lack of feeling. It often comes from feeling too much. The emotional scars left by past experiences can shape behavior in ways that are difficult to recognize. Some people become quieter. Some become more reserved. Some become highly independent. Others become extremely selective about who enters their lives. Yet beneath all these behaviors lies the same goal: protection. Protection from repeating a painful experience that left a lasting impact. Over time, this protective mindset can become a habit. The walls remain in place even when the original danger has disappeared. Opportunities for friendship appear, but emotional distance remains. Good people enter their lives, yet trust develops slowly. The desire for connection exists, but fear continues influencing decisions. This creates one of the most difficult challenges in human relationships. The very strategies that help a person avoid future pain can also prevent future happiness. The walls provide security, but they also create separation. They reduce risk, but they also reduce connection. They prevent betrayal, but they can also prevent friendship. As powerful as this trait is, there is one final personality characteristic that is perhaps the most misunderstood of all. Society often views it through the wrong lens. Many people assume it is unhealthy. Others see it as a sign of loneliness. Yet for some individuals, it is simply a natural preference. This final trait is the genuine enjoyment of solitude. Modern culture often sends a clear message. Being social is good. Having many friends is good. Constant interaction is good. Because of these beliefs, people sometimes assume that anyone who spends large amounts of time alone must be unhappy. Yet reality is far more complex. Being alone and being lonely are not the same thing. Loneliness is the painful feeling of lacking meaningful connection. Solitude, on the other hand, is simply the state of being alone. A person can feel lonely in a crowded room, and they can feel completely content while sitting alone in silence. Understanding this difference is essential, because many people who have few friends genuinely enjoy their own company. These individuals often experience solitude as a source of peace rather than discomfort. While others seek constant interaction, they feel energized by quiet environments. Time alone allows them to think clearly. It allows them to process emotions. It allows them to focus on personal interests without distraction. Many creative thinkers throughout history spent significant amounts of time alone. Solitude creates space for reflection. It encourages self-awareness. It provides an opportunity to explore ideas, goals, and personal growth. For certain personalities, these experiences are deeply satisfying. People who enjoy solitude often have rich inner lives. They spend time reading, learning, creating, planning, or reflecting. Their attention is directed inward rather than outward. This does not mean they dislike people. It simply means they do not require constant social stimulation to feel fulfilled. Because they are comfortable alone, they often approach friendships differently. They rarely seek companionship out of fear, boredom, or emotional dependence. If they choose to build a friendship, it is usually because they genuinely value the connection. This can result in fewer friendships overall, but the relationships they do maintain are often meaningful. Another reason friendships may develop more slowly for these individuals is that they spend less time pursuing social opportunities. While others actively seek gatherings, events, and group activities, solitude-oriented people often choose quieter alternatives. They may spend evenings reading instead of socializing. They may prefer a peaceful walk over a crowded gathering. They may enjoy hobbies that can be pursued independently. As a result, they naturally encounter fewer opportunities to form new friendships. This does not mean they are isolated. It simply means social interaction occupies a different place in their lives. Their happiness does not depend on maintaining a large social network. Unfortunately, society sometimes misunderstands this preference. People may assume that someone who spends time alone is lonely, shy, or unhappy. In reality, many solitude-loving individuals feel perfectly content. They appreciate meaningful relationships, but they do not measure success by the number of friends they have. This highlights an important reality about people who have few friends. They are not all the same. There is no single explanation. Some are highly independent and struggle to rely on others. Some spend so much time analyzing social interactions that connection becomes difficult. Some maintain extremely high standards and refuse to settle for relationships that lack depth. Some are protecting themselves from emotional wounds left by past experiences. Others simply enjoy solitude and find fulfillment in their own company. These patterns are not signs of failure. They are not evidence that a person is broken or incapable of friendship. They are personality traits, life experiences, and behavioral tendencies that shape how people connect with the world around them. Every individual follows a unique path when it comes to relationships. Some build large social circles. Others keep only a few close connections. Some move easily between social environments. Others find comfort in independence and quiet reflection. The deeper we look at human behavior, the more we realize that friendship is influenced by far more than popularity or social skill. It is shaped by personality, experience, values, trust, emotional history, and individual preference. Understanding these differences helps us move beyond simple assumptions and see people for who they truly are rather than judging them based on the size of their social circle. As we reach the end of this journey, one truth becomes clear. The number of friends a person has does not tell the full story of who they are. A small social circle is not a measure of worth, success, intelligence, or happiness. Some people walk through life surrounded by dozens of people and still feel disconnected. Others have only one or two meaningful relationships and feel deeply understood. Human connection has never been about numbers. It has always been about quality, trust, and authenticity. The 5 traits we explored today remind us that people who have few friends are often carrying experiences, values, and personality patterns that others cannot see. Some are fiercely independent and have learned to rely on themselves. Some spend so much time analyzing social interactions that friendships become difficult to build. Some refuse to settle for shallow relationships because they value depth and honesty. Some are still protecting themselves from wounds that never fully healed. And others simply find peace, creativity, and fulfillment in solitude. None of these traits automatically make a person lonely. None of them make a person broken. They simply influence the way people connect with the world around them. Behind every quiet person, every small social circle, and every individual who spends time alone, there may be a story that others never hear. That is why understanding is far more important than judgment. Perhaps the most important lesson is this: real friendship is not about collecting people. It is about finding those rare individuals who accept you without masks, without pretenses, and without conditions. Sometimes one genuine friend can bring more meaning into a life than 100 casual acquaintances ever could. True connection is rare, and that is exactly what makes it valuable. Now we would love to hear from you. Which of these 5 traits do you relate to the most? Are you someone who values independence, struggles with overthinking, keeps high standards, protects yourself after being hurt, or simply enjoys solitude? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your story may help someone else feel understood. If you found this video meaningful, take a moment to support the channel. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss our future content on psychology, human behavior, self-discovery, and personal growth. And if you know someone who would relate to this message, share this video with them. It could give them a new perspective on themselves or someone they care about. Thank you for spending your time with us today. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and remember that understanding yourself is often the first step toward understanding the world around you.